have some fun tonight. I hope you guys today. So hopefully to answer some questions and enjoy this here with you guys.
Good to have the whole Belfort family backstage with us today. And Chris Weidman, I believe, was drinking on the weigh-in show this morning, but he's sobered up. It's good to see you, brother.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a hangover right now, but I think I'll get through it thanks to some mojitos. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's an honor to be on stage with these guys, true legends of the sport. And yeah, it should be a fun time.
And of course, the inimitable George Rush St. Pierre. The relationship you have with this fan base is pretty special, and I got to imagine it feels pretty good, gives you chills to be back with these fight fans.
Man, thanks for it's good to feel the love. You know, guys, thank you so much. Hey, I really appreciate it.
All right, well, we got about 30 minutes, so feel free to grab a microphone. Don't be shy. We don't have any tickets. We can't do any photos, but we are here for you for the next 30 minutes. Jose Youngs, take it away.
Question for George St. Pierre. Obviously, I think people would assume you would be on a panel with the greatest welterweights of all time, but you're here with the middleweight. So I'm curious, do you consider yourself a middleweight now that your career is over?
No, I always thought of myself being a welterweight. And even I think I could have gone to 155. You know, nowadays I look, my training partner that fight at 155, they're just as big as me. And I never been a big fan of cutting weight. I did it basically because everybody does it, but I was always more concerned about my health than my performance. So I think it's, you know, if you can perform good without cutting weight, I think it's always better, you know.
And questions for all the former champions on the stage. Obviously, on Saturday, Israel is going to look to defeat a guy that's 3-0 against him. A lot of people consider Alex his boogeyman, the one that follows him throughout his career. So I'm curious, was there a fighter or a training partner or someone that maybe followed you throughout your careers that you just didn't really particularly care to get matched up with each time? George, I'll start with you.
There was a few, actually, especially in jiu-jitsu. There were guys that were, I don't know, their style. You know, styles makes fight. There were some guys. Normally in jiu-jitsu, I'm doing very well with guys that are that rely more on athleticism because I can match them. But guys that are not so athletic, but they are extremely technical. I have the tendency to have a hard time with these guys. And John Danaher had a few students that give me a really hard time. I used to call them my worst nightmare. You know.
We can go down the line if you want. Chris,
Go ahead, Chris.
I don't really have anybody that I could think of off the top of my head that is like someone that we've gone back and forth with, and I got, you know, like it's just a tough matchup. I always wanted that Rockhold fight back. You know, that's my first loss. That's the one I always wanted back, but that wasn't able to happen. You know, obviously I've had some tough losses, so there's guys that matchup wise didn't work out for me, but like I can't think of like a guy where we went back and forth on it. Just wasn't a good matchup for me.
Vitor?
Yeah, as in training with Carson Gracie team was very hard. So it's like you have a hard time every day. So it was so many. Thank you for the love. So I'm always training myself, compete myself with the best. And like I say, fighters are typical. The hardest ones are the ones that you never forgot. But when I was young, growing up in Carson, I got beat up every day. So that's what made me tough.
So it's always in training, it's hard sometimes because especially when you have a fight coming up, because you cannot win every session of training. So sometimes you have some guys a bit light than you, but because of the training, because of you're tired, so sometimes they can beat you up and it's a part of the training. You can just forget that and focus the day of the fight.
And if I may add something, there's a lot of guys who are very good in the gym, but when the lights are on and it's time to compete, they freeze. You know what I mean? To be successful in this game, I mean, in combat sport, is you need to be good when it counts, when it matters. And that's something that it's not everybody that can do that, you know?
Then one final one for everyone on stage. Do you have a prediction or any thoughts on the main event between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya?
I am biased. I'm friend with Adesanya, and I think this time he's gonna get it.
Chris Weidman, who wins the main event?
Man, it is a really tough fight. It's probably the worst matchup for Adesanya, but Adesanya is the better mixed martial artist. on paper, you got to go with Adesanya, just based on, I think he's better in every category of mixed martial arts, but the power of Pereira is insane, bro. His left hook is crazy. But I think if Adesanya is able to keep that distance, you know, just hit him, keep his feet moving, I think he got this fight.
Vitor, who do you like Saturday?
Yes, his styles are very. So I just feel like Adesanya is the better mixed martial artist, but Pereira coming as such an incredible preparation. He has Glover Teixeira with him, a guy who knows jiu-jitsu, boxing. And I feel like he got in the head a little bit of Adesanya, and it's going to be an emotion fight. But I mean, Pereira is so cold, like he's so like a killer.
Yeah.
And if the chance for Adesanya is on the ground, standing up, I don't see a chance. So it's going to be a very interesting. But I mean, with little gloves, you get hit right here on the tempo. It's hard to recover. So if Pereira can put his punching combination together, I think it'll be a tough fight for Adesanya. But I mean, both guys are tough. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
But that's my prediction.
Lyoto, what do you think, my man?
So I don't want to be biased, even though I'm Brazilian and I'm a friend of Pereira. But I put all my money on Pereira because I already trained so many times with him, and I know how difficult he is. He knows the distance really good, and everything that he does is through conscious. No, just by instinct. Because who knows Pereira knows that he does everything. If he moves to the side, he knows why he's moving to the side. It's not randomly moving. Then I put all my money on Pereira for sure, man.
I want to hear from the crowd. Who's got Adesanya? Make some noise. Okay? Who's got Pereira? Make some noise. Good even.
All right, let us go to the right here. What do you have, sir?
Oi, bom dia, meu irmão. Como vai você?
Oh,
I got one question. We all talk about all the fighters that are really good inside the ring. Can you name one of your training partners or someone inside the gym that never transitioned to the UFC that was very, very, very good?
There is one. My coach, Firas Zahabi. And trust me, I truly believe he would have done, if he would have competed, he would have done very, very well in mixed martial art. However, he always been more cerebral, more, you know what I mean? More, what is the word?
It's more a coach than a fighter.
Yeah, more coach. He was always the guy that we turned to when we needed to seek some advice. So I think he chose that path for that reason. But I think that if he would have choose to make a career out of it, he would have done pretty well.
Yeah, for me, the biggest beast I've ever seen in the room, his name is Ray Longo. You guys ever seen him before? He decided to stay as a coach.
Yeah.
Thank God, because the heavyweight division would be in some serious problems. Knocks people out. Anytime he used to spar people, they would just be dropped immediately in the first round. And so, but he wanted to, just save the world brain cells.
Right.
So he decided not to engage, and he stayed just as focused as a coach. And he's done some amazing things.
Vitor, what do you have?
So we had when I was young in Carson Gracie, we had a lot of fighters, but I had one fighter, Ricardo Liborio. So Liborio for me is one of the greatest guy, and if he would have transitioned, he would be crazy, so good.
so I have a guy that it was a long time ago. He used to fight in UFC as well. He does pretty good in training. His name is Vladimir Matyushenko. He's a beast, man, wrestling. But I don't know what reason, but every time when he competes well, but when you have a high challenge, difficult challenge, he could go further. Right? He didn't go. But I don't know why, because when it comes to competition, it's involved a lot more aspects. Emotional aspect, technical aspect, so many things you have put together at the same time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll go over here. What do you have, sir? Go ahead, my man. Yes, sir.
Yo, man, I'm a nobody. My name's Mel. I just want to know if anybody missed weight. John, if you could pass on the message. Yo, I fill in for them, you feel me? Let Dana know what's up. I train, I do Muay Thai. I'm more than willing to hold pads for any of you guys on stage. Everywhere I go, I always got my pads and my gloves, bro. I've been down here traversing the world, teaching in Mexico and in Miami, and I'm just trying to teach more and learn more and possibly step up in this arena one day. But you know the vibes, man. Shout out to Miami. You already know what it is. And George, do a free wrestling seminar, George. Come on, man. I'm trying to be great. And Vitor, yo, you smooth in that suit, cuz.
Yeah. You speak like you rapping. Can you rap?
Dog, I'm telling you, if y'all put me in this shit, it'd be like Mike Tyson mixed with The Rock. If you smell with The Rock, I'm telling you, I'm turning up, y'all. I love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all.
What's your name? You gotta tell everybody your name.
So my full name is Jamel Simpson. Ooh, yeah. I speak Spanish too.
Yeah.
Hola, entiendes mucho, habla poco. Muchas cervezas es bueno. Dos chicas, uy, diablo. ¿Qué fue? No, seriously, man, I'm telling you, I'm ready for this shit. Big time, big stage, you know what I'm saying? Let's work, let's do this shit. Jamel Simpson's my name, man. Yo, Muay Thai's my game, but don't wrestle me, because if you try to wrestle me, I'm going for an ankle pick, straight up. I'm breaking legs. I'm gonna just be real, bro. I'm not doing that.
Jamel Simpson, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. Last thing. This is my man right here, man. Mike, he gonna ask more questions. No more questions, man. No more questions, no more photos, man. That's it. You gotta talk to my man. That's it.
This question is for George. George, I've been training since I was 5 years old. I've been a role model of you've been my biggest role model. Do you have any advice for an up-and-coming fighter per se?
Well, the advice for me is you need to choose what you love to do in life, not what your parent want for you, your friend. What do you want to do? Once you figure that out, that's a big step already. Once you figure that out, do it for yourself. And if you do it because you love it, it's playful, it's fun, normally you'll get better at it, and hopefully, you put on the work and it will take off.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, back to the middle. Yes, sir.
Free class.
Hey guys, Daniel Charbonneau from TSN 690 in Montreal, Quebec. Naturally, I have some questions for George. George, there's a little rumor that during fight week you may have had a dinner with Adesanya, and I'm curious if you gave him any advice during that time.
No, I wasn't in Miami this week. I was in Montreal. I just arrived last night. But yeah, I'm sure he doesn't need my advice. I'm sure he's gonna do pretty well.
Awesome.
I wish him the best.
I heard you've been spending a bit of time at Silvertooth MMA. I'm just curious what pushes you to keep training and improve your techniques years after retirement?
Well, I do not train for performance now, even though there's friendly competition in the gym. I always enjoy that. I train for longevity. I train because for me, it's a therapy. It allows me to be a better person. That's why I'm doing it.
Amazing. And last question for our Montrealers back home: where's your favorite place to get a poutine? And for the other guys, would you ever be interested in trying a poutine, which is French fries, gravy, and cheese?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they would like it, but yeah, the best poutine is, if you go to Quebec City, it's called Ashton, or Montréal, La Banquise. That's right.
Thanks so much, guys.
He was ready to go with that answer right there. All right, go ahead.
Hey, quick question for the GOAT, George. I saw you Wednesday at TriStar, and I just wanted to know, can we roll together?
Let's do it next time, no problem.
Oh yeah, see you next week.
Go ahead, man.
All right, my question is for all you champs up here. Respectfully, who hit the hardest and who hit the softest, guys?
Lyoto, why don't we start with you? Of all your opponents, who hit the hardest, and maybe who didn't hit so hard?
It's hard to say, because every time when I got some punch, I pass out, man. It's hard to say that, but I can say that the tricky opponent that I have was John Jones, because he could change the game in the middle of the game. The moment that he figured out that he could do anything on some part of the fight, he can go to another part and finish the fight.
That's fair. That's fair.
Who hit the hardest? Oh my God, so many. I got hit one time by a boxer. I was fighting Tank Abbott. I sparred with this guy who was a Tyson sparring partner, and I was for 5 minutes up talking, but I just came back and then they say, you're talking about popcorn. So I was all over the place. I was for 5 minutes out. It was the hardest hit I ever took in my whole entire life.
Well, I'm sitting next to two guys that I was in the octagon with, and both of them hit me pretty damn hard. Lyoto Machida threw body kicks like I've never felt before. It was the craziest damn thing. He's in that southpaw position. He's supposed to just be a karate fighter, and then it's like the hardest kick of all time. And then Vitor with his damn boxing, barrage of punches, hits like a freaking truck. So, I mean, I'm sitting next to these two guys, and I remember, getting hit pretty damn hard by them. And then obviously you got to go into some of the Yo Romero. I mean, the flying knee was pretty damn hard.
That's a must.
And we are in the 305. So salute.
The person that hit me the hardest, I think it's Carlos Condit, and I'm gonna explain to you why. At one point in my fight with him, I was standing up. I saw him coming in, going to the left, and I followed him. And then something happened. I was out, and I ended up on my butt. I was like, shit, I'm missing like a split second or something. So that means he hit pretty hard. When you don't feel it, that means he hit pretty hard.
Respect, champs. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, man. We'll go back to the middle now. My man, go ahead.
Yeah, a question for Lyoto. I don't believe you've retired, so I just wanted to get a career update. Like, where are you at? And what's going on with your fighting career?
So I train pretty much every day because I like to train. It's a part of my life. Martial arts is in my blood. But you never know. I train with those young guys and I do sparring like at least once a week, and I feel good. But for now, I don't have any offer, so I prefer just to keep training and do what I like to do, what I love to do.
Would you want to fight again at some point?
Yes, I would like to fight at least one more time. Who knows? Can be the farewell or something like that.
Maybe in the UFC.
You never know. UFC is my home, and I love to be here, and I love the crowd. I love the people. And thank you, man.
And just one question for all the panel. Most of you guys fought Anderson Silva, and it was announced that he's joining the UFC Hall of Fame. Just a reaction, any words on his career, and obviously another former UFC middleweight champion.
Chris, you want to start us on the Anderson Silva stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if there's someone that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, it's Anderson Silva. I think it's a guy that we all, looked up to, especially for me. I was a little bit younger of a generation, but he was like a mythical figure. Being able to share the octagon with him is, a true blessing, and I was honored to do it. And he brought so much to the table. It wasn't just his technical, attributes. It was the mental side of it, the way he would, make you feel like there's nothing you could do to him. And no matter what you hit him with, he was still there and looking at you like that nothing hurt him. The guy was truly, just great for the sport. And so him retiring and moving on and, doing his thing in boxing is pretty awesome. And to see that the UFC is honoring him with, being in the Hall of Fame is pretty cool to see.
Vitor, any thoughts on Anderson Silva's induction?
Yeah, you got what you deserve. And no one deserved more than Anderson, what he put in the sport, what we represent. So was one of the champions that I shared the octagon with it. So I love when people recognize and something that you don't pick yourself. So someone picked but no one deserved more than him. So congrats for Anderson and his family.
And Lyoto, I'd imagine a lot of respect for your fellow Brazilian Anderson Silva as well.
Oh, yeah, Anderson Silva, we trained together a couple times, but we never had opportunity to do a camp together, but he's a legend. I consider one of the best in this sport.
And of course, for George St. Pierre, so much of your career was spent answering questions about this man. Your thoughts on Anderson?
And Anderson is probably the best whoever do it. He's just incredible. He fought like he was in the Matrix. He's got the best highlight in UFC. I think, he deserved it more than anybody.
All right, we're going to go back over here. Looks like this man just got off the golf course. What do you have, sir?
Hey, I'm just here to say hi to my dear friend, Vitor Belfort. If you guys don't know, his son just signed a football scholarship with Virginia Tech.
Shout out to Bobby Belfort, one of the best quarterbacks in this country.
And one last thing. He just had a birthday, April 1st, so we can all give a big let's go. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Vito. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I need some autographs. I can get some autographs?
Perhaps later on, my man, okay? Thank you. All right, let us go back over here to the left. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, everybody, Jake Long, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. What's up, Miami? Hey, quick question for everybody. What is next for you? Congratulations, the Phenom on his boxing victory. Chris Weidman, we haven't seen you in quite a long time. When you getting back in that octagon? I know, Lyoto, you just told us what you had, what you're expecting. You want to get a fight, get another back in the ring. And GSP, what's next?
I'm busier than I was when I was fighting, so a lot of things. I have a vodka that comes out pretty soon. I got a movie project, so yeah, it's all good. I'm more busy than I was when I was fighting.
Yeah, obviously, if you didn't know, about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I broke my leg in that fight with Uriah Hall. So recovering from that has been a mission. And I'm pretty much at the tail end of it, and I'm excited to get back in the octagon probably sometime this summer.
And Vitor, we were all watching last weekend. Congratulations on a big win over Jacare Souza.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great match. And as you guys know, the Paul brothers, I'm willing to fight both the same night. We can do 3 rounds. We won 3. I can go. No worries. But they've been ducking me forever. So I would love to fight real fighters like Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz. They have great boxing. That would be a great fight for me. And Roy Jones Jr. picked Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis won. And now he's asking for Anderson Silva. Stop ducking me. You guys got to come for Belfort. I'm an old fella. I'm old. So, and boxing is my skill. So I love what I do, and it's a passion. And I'm ready to go. Ready to go at any time.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Lyoto, you thought about boxing at all?
I want to try one day, because I train everything, for MMA. If I have a chance to fight in boxing, that would be good too, because I want to test my skills in box. That'd be completely different than MMA for sure.
Maybe we get an offer for Lyoto Machida next week. All right. Back over here to stage left. What do you have, sir?
All right. Hey, everybody. My name's Manny. Follow up on that question about hard hitters. Now, what did you all do, or what strategies did you use to sort of stay composed and continue fighting in an effective manner?
You gotta get hurt first. You ever tried to get hit?
Oh yeah, I've been hit.
You're only gonna know when you get hit. So what you do, but you have to prepare yourself. So it's a lot of training, like ways of training that you train your brain to assimilate the knockout. But I mean, trying to don't get hit, because when you get hit, that's when you see what's happened.
There was one thing that we did in training to try to emulate it, but it's hard to emulate that. My coach would have us spin in a circle as fast as we possibly can, and then you go right into hitting pads or sparring with somebody light. I think that was probably the best way for us to try to figure out a way to simulate what's going to happen in a fight if you get rocked.
I mean, for me, it's important. If you don't want, you talk about hard hitters. If you spar or you fight someone who hit harder than you, was known to hit very hard, it's important to don't stay in front of him. Always be in movement, always. Of course, you plant your feet when you hit, but then when you finish, you move. The reason is very simple. Let's say you have a sniper. What is the easiest target? The person, for a sniper, someone who doesn't move, or if someone moves, it's hard because he's moving. Same thing in fighting. A fighter that moves is a fighter that does not get hit. And if you want to have a good longevity in this game, it's important to move your legs, and your legs.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, back to the center. Go ahead.
Pergunta para o Vitor e para o Lyoto. Vou falar em português, vocês podem responder em inglês para a galera entender aqui. Vocês dois são dois maiores representantes que tivemos podemos dizer, primeira safra da MMA brasileira, né, na popularização do esporte no país. tem tido uma renovação natural. Hoje, Alex Poatan, Gilbert Burns, Amanda Nunes, Charles do Broncos. Queria que vocês falassem como é que vocês enxergam essa, podemos dizer, nova safra, a reformulação dos lutadores brasileiros para continuar fazendo com que a MMA cresça cada vez mais no país.
Yeah. So talking about how the cycle of fighting in Brazil. So me and Lyoto coming from the beginning of the Safra. So I think it's very important to make fighting part of our culture. And I think Brazil, you know, one thing that doesn't have in Brazil, they have in America and Canada is the support of the gyms and support of the investors. So I think Brazil, if we have more investing in especially promoters, events, Brazil is always going to be a place where you either play soccer or you become a fighter. So fighting has been a big thing of Brazil. The Brazilian people, they fight. It's a country that have that in the nature. So it's a third world country, but I mean, we have one of the best fighters in Brazil, and I always believe we're going to have a lot of great coaching. It's just the infrastructure. You just got to get better every time, and I think we're in a good season right now.
I believe that we need more support in our country. You know, we have to have more events. It's more events that can, like, launch the guys through the world. But it's hard because sometimes we don't have that. But everyone has to do their own. No, you have to go on your own. You have to come to the United States. You have to open your own chance, your own possibility. But that's the sport. You cannot complain that. We just have to accept everything and forget and move and go further than you can.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Back over here. Go ahead.
Saludos a todos. Hi, my name is Gabriel Lopez. I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico. First of all, I wanted to thank the UFC for such a stacked card in Miami 305. Second of all, I have two questions. As you can see, I hurt my hand training well this past week. I see some of the 4 best former title champions and challengers, and you guys have seemed to have the most longevity throughout your UFC and career path. What type of suggestions or something you guys do? I see George does ice bath and other things, and what do you can like tell everyone else to follow and do it as well, so you could get more longevity to the sport? That would be my first question.
You want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's proven that one of the best thing you can do to increase your longevity is exercise. But it's not only to work hard, it's to work smart. I see guys sometime in the gym, they leave their career in the gym. They get into wars every day in sparring, and they leave their career in the gym. So you need to not only train hard, but train smart. It's more important. So that's one thing I can tell you and advise: train smart. Don't train hard, train smart.
Yeah, one of the other things I try to tell people who are up and coming that they should focus on for longevity is strength and conditioning. Don't avoid the weight room. Like compared to jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, wrestling, it's kind of boring. It's not as competitive. I never was like super into it, and I feel like I paid for it because strength and conditioning really helps. Just like all that weight on your joints just helps strengthen your joints and just help you stay healthier throughout your career. So I think sticking with strength and conditioning during your camps and throughout your fight career is going to help you stay in the sport longer.
So longevity, I'm approving of that. You know, I started at a very young age. I remember 1996 was my first fight in UFC. And I'm 46, and I didn't lose speed. I didn't lose power. And the problem I think with society is like everybody wants to retire everybody. And I live in Florida. It's one of the best places for retirement. So I think the key, I'll be honest with everybody, stay out of sugar, quit alcohol. That's the two things that will kill you aging. And I mean, that's the two things fighters love after the fight. So, but I mean, I challenge my kids, my kids don't eat sugar. You know, I hope they never touch alcohol because they give you pleasure at the moment. But I mean, I know, but So some people like it, they cannot avoid, but that's why they're not going to make it. You cannot have longevity and performance at a high level if you are into these two categories. So I think it's like the worst thing for your life. It is sugar, like bad sugar, and alcohol. That will age you fast.
So, like everybody said here, it's very true. But for me, it's so many things together. No, you cannot just. You have to have a good food. You have to do mobility. You have to work on your strength. You have to work on your technique because you can save, your body. You can save energy when you have a good technique. So many things together. But it's hard to say just one thing or other thing. I think to have a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. You have to have a different lifestyle.
Excellent. My second question is to the GOAT, George St. Pierre. I know 16 years ago, you had a really tough battle with Macera, and actually, at 16 years ago today, that was it. That was the fight. Now, Israel Adesanya is coming back after just a small layoff. Just a couple months ago, he got knocked out by Alex Pereira. What would you tell him just coming to this fight? What did your motivation do to perform in the next couple months? And we see that you beat Koscheck right after that battle. So what would you tell him?
I think one of the biggest mistake when someone fights another person is trying to do if he try to do is if he try to use his anger, his emotion, that might be a mistake. I think it's important to focus on the objective, not the subjective. It's very important. And the difference is, if you focus on the objective, only on the things that you can control, not the thing that you don't have control for. For example, am I gonna lose or win? You don't control that. What people gonna think about me? You don't control that. What my opponent is doing, you don't control that. Just focus on the thing that you need, that you can control. And by doing so, he knows what he needs to do to get the job done. Focus on that and clear your mind of all the BS around it. Just focus on what you need to do, and you just by doing this, you slip the odds in your favor.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, man. Back over here.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, all right. I can hear myself. This question is for George. It's about one of your other passions and what everyone's here to hear us talk about. Dinosaurs! Let's hear it. All right. So the question is your top 3 pound for pound dinosaur species and why?
Well, I don't know if number 1, dromaeosaur. I think they're the number 1. All the dromaeosaur. Number 2, I would say. I feel so ridiculous now. Is nobody probably understand what I'm talking about?
It's a dromaeosaur.
Dromaeosaur. You guys all seen Jurassic Park? The raptors. The dromaeosaur are the family of that kind of dinosaur. So I think the dromaeosaur, they're for dinosaur perspective, they're very smart. They have a lot of weapon, claws, teeth. Some of them could glide and land on their prey. So I think they're the number 1. And if I go, that's for the predatory animal. Then for the herbivore, I would say ankylosaurs. All the ankylosaur, it's like a turtle-like dinosaur with a hammer at the tail, so it could defend itself very well. So there you go. You have it.
Thank you. What about Barney? Barney, you know Barney?
Barney is a Tyrannosaurus is very good too. T-Rex is bone-crushing bite power, so he's right up there.
Brontosaurus, what do you think?
Brontosaurus is big, he's big, but till the time he get to that size, sometimes he doesn't make it. Most of it doesn't make it.
Always prepared, that George St. Pierre, right? What do you have, sir?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Miami? This question's for Vitor Belfort. You've been through every single inception of the UFC. Your first fight was 1996. Your first fight in the UFC was 1997. Every single inception. What is the next level, or where does the UFC go? You've been through. You've been fighting win at the very beginning. What's the next step in the evolution of mixed martial arts?
I think UFC is doing everything better than anybody. They're doing a very good job. They're creating the landscape. I think I can see UFC become like the NFL, like they are getting so big and so awesome. Like, and to see everyone works. It's a company that they're trying to keep the people here. And I wish they can have like the retirement, like like for the master division. I think they can do a lot of stuff. But I mean, they're doing so great. You see, the events are amazing. The fighters are just getting better and better and better. So it seems that just not just the event, but the sport itself. Just the sport become a sport, not just entertaining. It's great to see the entertaining fact, but I love to see the sport, the fighter, the retirement, how they can become more wise and save more money. They can have a retirement for the fighters. I love when I see a sport like tennis, basketball, football, like being here is a reunion, because I know not just what he goes through, what his wife goes through, what his kids go through, the sacrifice we all make here. So sometimes you guys see us as a warrior, like in the Coliseum, but they have fight, they have family, they have life. So I want to see fighters become more, instead of buying gold and chain, invest your money, become smart, because it's very important. It's not going to last forever, but I'd be very smart to the fighters to be able to create a retirement. And I think UFC is doing a great job to creating platforms for fighters to become a speaker. And so I think UFC's done a great job.
Awesome. And one more question. You guys are a part of the best divisions, the middleweight division. Besides you four guys, Evan Tanner, Murilo Bustamante, Anderson Silva, the greatest and the who's who has fought in the middleweight division. What fighters are on your radar that could do big things as you guys have done in the middleweight division?
I think all like Jordan was saying, when you put your mind into it and you train, you prepare, you do the right things. I think anybody that has it's like a talent can take you there, but the effort, I believe in effort. Effort can make you a champion. So whatever fighters put the effort, they can achieve anything they want.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to passion. It's hard to really look at the talent and figure it out, because a lot of times talent is just not enough at all. Everyone's talented at this stage of the game. So you need someone who's super passionate and obsessed with being the best in the world. And that guy has the best chance of, being a champion.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. We got about 5 more minutes, so if you haven't lined up already, I would discourage you from doing so. Yes, young man, what do you have?
Yeah, this is a question for George. There have been rumors this week about a possible grappling match between you and Khabib. Would you be open to that in the future?
Woo, I like that.
Well, there's always rumor. I have not heard of anything, but yeah. Listen, my days of serious competition are over, but you never say never to, if it's well done, maybe for a good cause, money goes to charity, and I would compete again, but not to prove that, not to try to be the strongest man in the world. This, I have no interest of doing it anymore, but for a grappling event, maybe something like this, I never say never,
Okay, thank you so much. And I just want to say, George, you are a legend. I love you. You are the greatest of all time.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. Shout out Miami, Florida. So first of all, for all of you guys on the panel, I was wondering, if you guys were all in your prime right now, who'd you fight in your respective divisions?
So that he wants to know, if you were in your fighting prime right now, who would you want to fight? I guess at either welterweight or middleweight.
Well, for me, I would, for a fighter, I speak for myself, but I'm sure you guys share the same thing. For a fighter, sometimes the most exciting things to do is the scariest thing. So for me, I would want to fight the best, if I would be in my prime, because I want it to be the best. So I would want to fight the best.
Yeah, same. I mean, you just want the biggest challenges. So whoever's the champ, that's who you want.
Same. If you want to become the greatest, you have to find the greatest. You are defined up how many victories you have is what your opponents. That's how you define yourself. So
Yeah, what you always looking for the best, because at the end of the day, it is a mind game. You want to be the best. If you want to be the best, you want to fight the best.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
Hi. Given that all of you have had such lengthy careers, how is your training in or outside competition significantly different? Like, what are some standout elements that today would be so different than when your career started?
Lyoto, you want to start with that one? I know you said you're training every day still, but what was your training like in training camp versus some of the other training?
Off season. So it's when you're in off season, it's different because everything is fun. No, you're training. You don't have you don't have to follow the schedule. For example, if you train 2 days very strong, the other day you can rest. But sometimes when you're in camp, you're on season, you don't have that choice. You just have to go. You have to go like for 5 rounds. You have to do like weight training, strength training, everything. You don't have choices. But when you're in off season, you have to maintain. You have to keep your shape. But sometimes you have the option. No.
Is there something you're doing differently now than you did when your career first started?
Oh, totally different now.
Yeah.
Now I do what I want to do. I do what I feel like comfort for me. But of course, sometimes I go to the gym and try to test myself, test the water, and see how I am now. No, but in terms of training, I do most of the time what I like to do, what I feel comfortable to do. When I don't get hurt, no stuff that I get hurt, sometimes I don't train too much because I don't have a fight coming up.
Yes, I think it's lifestyle. So you got to understand that, we have seasons. You're not going to wear no shirt in a cold season. So I think fighters have to understand that. I think where athletes get hurt the most, studying longevity, is in the weight room. Get big and strong. So I'm a big believer in get pliable. You got to, strength is different than being big and strong. So it's like we are throwing athletes. We punch. We don't push weights. This is not CrossFit.
Yeah.
This is fighting. So you have to focus on skills and how can you produce your strength in your movement. So if I can go back, I would do everything different. But I cannot go back, so I can only go forward. So I create a fitness called Belfort Fitness Lifestyle. So everything that I learned through my life, I like to share with people. So everything is forward. We are forward motion person. So we have to train more the back part of our body than the front part of our body. So I call, our strength is not on the front, it's on the back. So it's in your glute, it's in your hamstring. So if I can go back, I would do everything in the weight room differently. But I hope going forward, fighters understand that philosophy, that I need to be skillful and have strength and mobility, flexibility, and learn to eat and drink right. I think that's the key.
One thing I feel like really evolved since I started my career was when I first started. It was like almost a prideful thing how much weight guys would gain after a fight. It was like, oh, look what I'm eating, and going overboard. And I would jump on the bandwagon too. Like Matt Serra was my coach, right? So I got to see him. His weight used to just fly up, like it was insane, like as much pizza as possible. But as the sport evolved, we became more of like a professional athlete. You want to take care of your body all year long. You ramp it up during a training camp, of course, but you want to try to keep a healthy lifestyle as long as possible for longevity. But for a long time, that was not a thing. I feel like GSP might have been one of the first guys to really eat healthy for an extended period of time.
It's all about balance. I don't eat so healthy, trust me. I think it's all about balance. For me, if I could go back in time and talk to a younger self, I would tell myself to train less, because I did not give myself enough time to recuperate sometime, and I had some stupid injuries because of it. When I was in training camp, because when you're in training camp, you try to recreate the situation of your fight. Therefore, you try to put yourself in a very uncomfortable situation outside of your comfort zone. So normally I train in a gym. We have fun when I'm off season, with my regular training partner. But when I'm in training camp, I used to fly guys that has similar characteristic than my future opponent. And their job were to giving me a hard time. Their job were to try to kick my butt in training. So training in training camp, for a training camp, it's not fun for me because it was about performance. Training when you're off season, it's fun because it's about pleasure, learning new things. But definitely, I believe for longevity, you need to give yourself time for recuperation. Not to be lazy, but to give yourself more time for recuperation sometimes.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We got time for a couple more. We'll go over here first. What do you have, sir?
So first off, just want to say, John Anik, greatest announcer in sports.
Thank you, buddy.
Doesn't
Thank you.
matter the sport. Love you.
Appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Second, my question is going to be for GSP and Chris Weidman. So with Faraz Sahabi and John Danaher as your coaches, and then Ray Longo and Matt Serra as yours, what do you think has made them so successful over the past few years in MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well when it comes to Danaher? Want me to go first?
So Ray and Matt completely different. Danaher is also a coach of mine, but I think what Ray's done really good to focus on him is getting to know his fighters in and outside the cage, forming like special bonds with the fighters, where like you get to the point where you love him so much, and the words that come out of his mouth mean so much. And if he believes in you, you want to prove him right when you walk into that octagon. And him and Matt, just as a partnership with Matt's technical skills and the way he could amp you up, and with Longo, how he just creates this environment where you'll die for him. It's just really hard not to, do well. And then just to piggyback with Danaher just is a magician on the mat. Like, he's created a system like we've never seen before. I come from a wrestling background. There is no systems in that sport like there is with jiu-jitsu, and it's really a testament to Danaher. So for him to be in New York City my whole career, for me to be able to go inside, jump on a train and, head on over to the city was huge for me to be able to get insight from him.
A few people knows this, but it's not everybody that knows that Firas and John are both they have diploma in philosophy. John is a PhD in philosophy at Columbia University. So he used to teach at Columbia. Columbia is a very high-end university, and I think one of the reasons why they are so good at teaching is because they use and they take their academic experience that they got from philosophy and they bring it into jiu-jitsu and mixed martial art.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it very much. All right, our final question, Mr. Irrelevant. Just kidding. What do you have?
Appreciate that, John. Good afternoon, gentlemen. My question to all of you is, George, you come from Canada, Chris, New York, Vitor, Brazil, Lyoto, Brazil. What makes Florida so clearly like landslide superior place to train and practice and overall perform MMA? Like what makes it so dominant, and at least for America, if not the whole world? Because I see this as like East Vegas in the future.
Vitor, why don't you lead us there, because you were one of the first Brazilians that really made Florida a hotbed for MMA.
We Brazilians say the best city of Brazil is Florida.
Yep.
And I think it goes down to what the city offers. So no state taxes here. So that's a great thing. I think we as a citizenry, we have to see we are being protected, our rights being protected or not. It's like this. I'll be honest. You can choose to like to do drugs, but don't make me this legal to do drugs. Don't make what you want be what I need. So I say everybody has a free will to choose. But to lead in society, you guys know I don't like to praise politicians, but DeSantis is the best guy. I'm sorry. That's why every New Yorker, Brazilian, Canadian, everybody's coming. George's coming to Florida because here you got protected. Your rights are protected, and I think, you guys, we got to have more UFC Miami for sure. I want to fight in Miami.
Lyoto, how did you end up in California long-term versus Florida?
So when I first came to the U.S., I went straight to California, and I spent like 8 years and a half over there. And 3 years ago, I decided to move to here, to Florida, because this is the best state to live, man. I love to be here. The weather, no tax. The weather is good. It's perfect.
No mask.
So I love California, but I prefer to be here.
Well, I can't thank you all enough for the participation, for the energy. We got the weigh-in coming up in 5 minutes, but once before, a final hand for the legends, George St. Pierre, Chris Weidman, Vitor Belfort, and Lyoto Machida. Thank y'all. Plenty more to come today from Miami.
DJ Khaled.